And good Tuesday morning. I hope you're doing well. As always, something new always happens as we get ready to go into this morning. It was, wow, how did those happen? We'll get that fixed before the next show. Good morning. I hope your day is going well for you. Already 6:30 as we start this day out. 50 is where we're sitting at as we wait for warmer weather today. The high should reach somewhere around 74. Pretty good stuff, isn't it? We'll wait for that as we get toward the weekend. Thursday, we're going to get a chance of some pretty good showers, 80% chance moving into the forecast as we look on down the road. We'll be moving out by Friday, which will be great news, and into the weekend. 30% chance, I think, on Saturday and Sunday. Not all that bad, so we should have a pretty good weekend in store for us. And thank goodness, for the first time in a while, no major weather expected with these thunderstorms. Just some rain at this point. So let's keep our fingers crossed that none of that changes. How do you feel today? We hope all is well in your world and everything is going good as you start this morning. Already Tuesday, April the 11th, believe it or not. That's nearly the halfway point through another month. How time does fly. It does. Let's head out to Collinsville this morning to find out what's going on with a good message from the church there.
In Matthew 24, we read Jesus' answer to his disciples' questions regarding the future. They specifically asked him about the timing of his second coming and the signs of the end of the age. And in verse 32 and following, Jesus says this, "From the fig tree learn this lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves, you know that the summer is near." In the same way, when you see all of these things, that is the signs and signals that Jesus had just described in previous verses, you know that the end is near, even at the gates. The reality is that the world is getting more and more ungodly every day, and it will continue to do so. And as sin continues to prevail over creation, it groans under the weight of that curse. The Bible tells us that the entire cosmos, that is to say, all creation and everything in it, travails like a woman in labor, meaning that the actions of the people and the devastation of things like natural disasters will continue and even increase as the day approaches, until even the powers of the heavens, the sun, the moon, and the stars themselves are shaken. When you see these things, you should know that the coming of Christ is at hand. So what do we do with that? Should we worry or fear? Well, not at all. We are called to live in faithfulness, and by following Jesus and testifying to the truth of the gospel, we live above the tumult and the strife of the curse of sin. And if we live to see the signs of his return, we can marvel at his coming because we have believed in him and we have a place in his kingdom. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Always a good message from Collinsville. I was telling Odie as we were sitting here getting things ready, this feels kind of weird with this microphone to this side of my mouth. Real weird. We'll get all this fixed here in just a moment as we start this day for you. Good morning to Pat and Jim Coker. I see y'all are up. Nina, how are you today? Big city of Newton, Mississippi. Always something great going on there. Don Carney. I see you, Miss Donna. Miss Donna White. Good to see you, Mr. Jerome Lee, out in the Collinsville area. As we look around at some headlines across America, and it's amazing, this is no blow, but the headline, this came from Fox News, I think is where they put this. It says, Democrats dealt another big blow. Third Democrat leaves the Democrat Party to join the GOP. Well, it's not going to be a big blow. This is in the House and the seats there. But it is the third Democrat here in recent weeks to jump ship, so to speak. I'm getting my so's and the shows all mixed together, but so to speak. No big deal on the national level, but it does show that there are signs of people going, I don't quite agree with everything happening here, so I'm switching sides. We do see that in news this morning. As we look around, this is one thing that bothers me to no end, and it should most Americans. As we remember back with what happened with the Jewish folks when it comes to the Diary of Anne Frank. Everybody familiar with that? I'm sure before long history will erase this where you don't get to know what happened in history. But there's a book out. Some parents noticed it in a Florida school. And as sickening as, and to me this is sickening. I don't know how you feel about it, but the headline goes into this. It showed Anne Frank fantasizing about girls. What does that have to do with what happened in history? Seriously. Where is the minds of the writers that put this stuff out? Has nothing to do with what happened. She was a 14-year-old girl who was murdered by Nazis. That's what happened. That's what history is. As a matter of fact, it was 6 million Jewish people who lost their lives in the Holocaust. We should never forget that. Really gets my dandruff up, if y'all don't mind me saying that. We'll talk a little bit more about this morning as we talk about the latest shooting. This was Kentucky yesterday. I'm sure by now you've heard of it. And this just goes to prove that people that, Odie, is the word wrap tight? Is that the word I'm looking for? Not right real tight. This guy was a banker that did this. You know, a lot of people go, oh, it's these people that, no, it can come from any walk of life there is, whether they snap, whether their basket wasn't all together, however you want to word it. This was horrifying as you read all of this, of the people that he took out. Awful, awful, awful as people lost their lives yesterday. You almost think this is a commercial. You've seen these ads on TV where you buy so nobody can steal your home, forge your deed. Well, you think, well, yeah. Well, it really happened. A next-door neighbor forged a neighbor's home. She's out of her home for $350,000. The girl signed it and did it all for $10 and stole her home. How can that be so easy to do? I don't guess I know everything that I need to know about these types of events. That's some of the headlines that are across America this morning. We got lots more. We want to discuss all this coming up beginning at 7. We'll be right back and tell you more about all the exciting news that's going on.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Hello, my name's Kenneth Graham, and I'm running for coroner of Lauderdale County. For over 50 years, Lauderdale County's been represented by professional and competent coroners. I would like to continue that tradition. Over the next several months, I want to educate the public on what the coroner does and dispel any myths about the coroner job. I can show you that I will be the most professional coroner there is. So please vote for me August the 8th.
Paid for by the Committee for the Election of Kenneth Graham.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Let's dive off into our forecast as we turn back the hands of time to 2019. It was a warm day today, 87 degrees. As we look for our coldest day, it would be 1989. That's starting to be some years ago now, isn't it? 31 degrees back in 1989. As we look ahead, let's see here what else we've got. Sunny. Sunny is what we'll have today, 74. As we go up toward Philadelphia, up 19, and then go on right on up into Winston County, and we make it to Columbus. 74 is what is expected in the northern portion. Not much difference there. To the south, we'll see 75 in Hattiesburg and 73 in Natchez. As we look over to our east in Demopolis, 74 today. We'll see 75 in Selma. Also, Montgomery, Alabama, 75. Even in Auburn, over there with the trees and all, 73 today. As we look across, this is what's going on right now. A little bit cooler as we see that 50-degree mark this morning, 49 in some areas waking up today. On the eastern side of Texas, cooler weather there easing into Mississippi. But look back toward Nevada, California. We've got warmer weather on the way, and that is coming up. Don't forget that. As we look ahead to this 7-day forecast brought to you by our friends at Wilson Saw and Outdoor Power, clear to see today, 74, 77 tomorrow, warming up a little bit more, down to 71 when that rain moves in on Thursday. And again, 70 to 80% chance is going to come down on Thursday. Could be some thunderstorms involved, but no severe weather expected. By Friday, we're back to great weather with 80 degrees. And then Saturday, chance of showers there, 84 for the high, and still hovering at a 40% chance on Sunday as well. As we look ahead to another week off into this, all the way to April the 25th, we've got 80-degree weather starting there at the 18th, full week of that all the way through the 25th. No bad weather. Nighttime lows of about 59. That's that cool, crisp air that you'll like. Pretty good there. As we look at that fishing forecast this morning, Chet tells us hit the water. It's going to be a great time to hit it at, our best time today is at 5 o'clock this afternoon, right when you get off. That'll last until about 7 o'clock. You got about a 2-hour window there to get in and do some great fishing. And Bob, you're right. Evil is amongst us. Well, you said among us, but I said amongst us. We meant the same thing, didn't we? Joy, good morning there. Glad to see you there. Lamar Embry up all the way from Preston, Mississippi. We got a big day ahead of us. We're going to tell you about car chases. Woo, we had a big one last night. Roll into Lauderdale County from Clark County. The Popo won. One arrested at Hillcrest Drive in Lauderdale County. We'll tell you about that and a lot of things that went on in the community. A lot of ribbon cutting ceremonies yesterday. Also, Rush Hospital, Oshner Hospital, Rush. Did I say that right? Oshner Rush? I think that's it now. The new name. It takes a little time for me to catch on there. They had a flag ceremony yesterday. I had a chance to go down for that. Had a great time at that. We'll tell you about the events that went on throughout yesterday. Coming up at 7 o'clock. Odie's on standby. He's reading the news over here. He's getting edumacated. I see him over to my right. Y'all join us. 7 o'clock is when all the fun begins. It'll be the fastest hour on television, on Facebook, YouTube, all that combined. Join us, won't you? Look forward to seeing you.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: